Watch out!
The holiday season is really heating up instead of cooling down. Reports upon reports of some great gaming news are trickling in, as well as a few awesome releases and even some confirmed games on the horizon. While many of us are currently playing Marvel Rivals, a game that I'd love to talk about sometime on the channel, it's been easy to miss reports from insiders regarding some of our favorite franchises. Fret not though, dear viewer, because as always, I've rounded them up for you so we can discuss them today. So let's not waste any time and dive right into our first bit of news. We have not one, but two insiders reporting on the imminent release of Metroid Prime 2 for Nintendo Switch. Of the two leakers, one of them is Jeff Grubb. He was the first to speak out on this matter, and he's known for generally being very accurate with his leaks. The other of the two leakers is Samus Hunter, a known insider who's also usually right on the money. Samus Hunter in particular has been keeping a close eye on anything Metroid related within Nintendo, and over the course of the last few years has reported on the constant shifting of how the Prime remakes and remasters would be handled. Today is no different, as Samus Hunter yet again confirms Nintendo's shifting plans on how Metroid Prime 2 and 3 would be handled. Supposedly, Prime 2 and 3 were originally going to come bundled as simple upscaled ports for the Nintendo Switch. That might not be the case anymore. First, Jeff Grubb stated that the Metroid Prime 2 we'll be seeing on Switch will be a full-on remaster. He's also mentioned that it will be releasing relatively soon now. Samus Hunter substantiated this by saying they can confirm what Jeff mentioned to be true. They continued by saying even the release date for Metroid Prime 2 Remastered has been shifted around. This is actually similar to what happened with Metroid Prime 1 Remastered. Apparently, that game had been finished for a long time, but Nintendo wanted to wait until Metroid Prime 4 was closer to reveal so that they could release the Prime 1 Remaster. It makes sense. That's a great way to build and maintain hype for an upcoming game. This also reflected in the sales, with Metroid Prime 1 Remaster crossing 1 million sales fairly quickly, which is something very new for the Metroid series. They usually don't do too hot. If these claims from Metroid Prime 2 are to be true, that's great for building hype for Metroid Prime 4's release towards the end of 2025. But that does also put Metroid Prime 3 in an awkward spot. I imagine the remaster for that is, at the very least, near completion at this point, if not completed already. So when would that be released then? After Prime 4? That wouldn't make much sense. Perhaps these shifts in scheduling are telling us something else, and that something is that Nintendo might do what they usually do and announce yet another delay for Metroid Prime 4. It's absolutely possible at this point, but I'm also curious what you all might think is happening here, so be sure to comment below where you think they're going with this release schedule. If you haven't played Metroid Prime Remaster yet, by the way, I highly recommend you do. The Prime series is one of the best gaming trilogies around, in my opinion, and even if you're like me and think that you might not be good at it or enjoy it because it's in first person and has shooting mechanics, I promise you, it's not like that. It really does feel more like a platformer adventure than anything. Kind of like if the 3D Zelda game got changed to be in first person view instead of third person. It's super fun and satisfying, and the game really does make it simple to use its mechanics. I'm not saying it's particularly easy either or anything, but it's easy to pick up, and you can even select an easy difficulty mode, so definitely don't sleep on this one. On another second-party Nintendo note, Pokemon has been hinted recently to be receiving another remake at some point in the near future. This remake is set to take place after Pokemon Legends ZA and Pokemon Gen 10, if these rumors are true. According to Fami boards, this bit of data comes from the code in Pokemon Home. After looking into the code, users have revealed that it leads to a bit of text that reads, "I love your style of Pokemon battling. Somehow, your Pokemon look like they're having so much fun." This was actually a quote from the character Bianca from Pokemon Black and White, if the player were to beat her during a post-game battle in Nuvema Town. This dialogue, mixed with reports that Pokemon Home will have a Switch 2 version, is leading many fans to believe that Black and White will have some sort of reprise following Generation 10. This reprise could be in the form of remakes, a Legends game, or my personal favorite idea, a Pokemon Black and White 3. Time will tell, of course, and I definitely want to hear in the comment section if you guys think fans are crazy and are jumping to conclusions, or if this seems to hold some water. Regardless, what's interesting is that FamiBoards also stated that Pokemon Home will not only have a Switch 2 version, but that it will feature a new host and developer. The current host is Grand Oak, and people are thinking he'll be switched with Bianca. Or perhaps there will be several hosts from then on the Switch 2 version. A new developer for Home would also be interesting, since we all thought the Pokemon Company was building a lasting relationship with Ilka Inc., and they even formed a whole new division called the Pokemon Works Project. But perhaps they've already had a falling out? Time will tell, I suppose. Either way, let's move past speculation and discuss something purely tangible that we can finally feast our eyes on, and that is Okami 2. Now, if you've never played Okami, it's one of those games that was really influential to me in particular. I even have a tattoo on my chest of the main character, Amaterasu, and the kanji for Amaterasu and Okami. It was really one of the, if not the most beautiful game I've ever played. The art style takes place entirely within an ink brush canvas, and this even translates to gameplay, as you can press a button and draw on the screen at any time. When you do, what you draw comes to life or affects the environment and enemies, depending on what you drew. It's a gameplay mechanic I've never really seen mimicked ever again, especially in a game like this, which, without this mechanic, essentially plays like a standard Legend of Zelda game. If you're looking to play Okami 1, I recommend the Switch version, as it has every possible gameplay option that you can think of for a game like this. You can use analog, motion controls, or even the touchscreen to draw, and it really is the ultimate version of the game because of that last option in particular. It feels right at home with the touchscreen, as the Switch becomes your personal canvas. Now, as for Okami 2 itself, this has been a long time coming. It's been 18 years since Okami 1 had its original release, and Hideki Kamiya is back to direct this sequel, just like he did for the OG. This also comes after the somber news that Kamiya left Platinum Games, a studio that he essentially founded, and he had the biggest footprint on that company. Just ask any Platinum Games or Bayonetta fan, meaning that while we'll no longer see his influence on beloved series like Bayonetta, the silver lining is that we at least get to see this gem of a sequel come to life, finally, after almost 2 decades. The upgraded graphics fits perfectly for this series and its hand-drawn aesthetic, and I absolutely cannot wait to see gameplay in the near future. Thank goodness the rights and funding were negotiated for this franchise to have a second chance at life, because it never took off. Even with it being released on nearly every system to date, Okami 1 never got good sales. And perhaps this time, we can all support it and fund some staying power for the Okami brand. So let me know your favorite bit of news from today, and afterwards, check out more of my videos, like this one here where I discuss reports on what the price of the Switch 2 will be. The link is also in the pinned comment below. I've been johtojonny, and I'll catch you all there.